So I genuinely saw this video on my timeline, and shout out to what's the name? Shout out to Chilling Scares, man. Let's see if we could really get scared tonight, boys and ladies. Let's see if we can really get scared. Bro. I am off that drink, so I wouldn't be surprised if my ass get some what's the word I'm thinking of though, for real. Some goosebumps, you know what I'm saying? I won't even be surprised if I get some goosebumps. We got 6 most disturbing 4-chain threads. Now, I honestly don't know what I can't even speak! I don't know what 4-chain threads really means, but we're going to find out in this video, man. If you're new, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications to me know if I when I post a new video. Hey, man. Hopefully this isn't too spooky. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all love my scary crime reaction videos, so I got to drop another one for y'all. Hey, man, let's see what this talking about, bro. But before we get into that, man, bro, listen, my Patreon is in the description down below. Y'all go get with it. I got a lot of videos on there if y'all want to check it out. Videos that don't make the YouTube channel because they get blocked, go on my Patreon. So if you're new around here, go get with it. It'd be much appreciated. I love y'all so much. We've been growing a little rapidly. I ain't gonna lie. Lately, we've been growing crazy, bro. And I appreciate y'all. Even the ones who hating on your boy. You know what I'm saying? Think your boy is shit. You know what I'm saying? Respect to y'all, man. Love y'all, bro. Fine God, I love y'all, man. It is what it is. But we're gonna get straight to this. Before we do, I gotta make sure my food is here. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back, y'all. Let's get straight to it.
DIY crystals. On August 18, 2009, an anonymous user on 4chan shared a seemingly innocent guide, how to grow stunning crystals at home using common household items. The recipe included items like laundry bleach, table salt, baking soda, pennies or some other copper coins, and ammonia. The instructions were straightforward. Mix these ingredients in a large glass jar, add the pennies, and blow on them through a straw to trigger the reaction. However, anyone who followed these instructions was in for a horrific surprise. It seemed like a harmless DIY experiment turned into a nightmare, because the original poster's promise of beautiful DIY crystals was a flat-out lie. In reality,
let me guess, that shit will blow the fuck out of your house, gang.
Combining ammonia and bleach produces chlorine gas, an insidious and highly toxic chemical. Chlorine gas can cause severe respiratory damage, excruciating chemical burns, and even permanent injury with just brief exposure.
Wow.
Exposure to high concentrations, on the other hand, can be life-threatening.
So that's why I don't just do shit I see on the internet, though. Like, that's exactly why I don't do this, bro. Okay, so this not gonna be a spooky reaction. I'll give y'all another one of those, but it's gonna be an informative reaction. Is that the word I was gonna say? Informative? I think so. This is gonna be a video that really educates us, okay? Bro, this is why I can't drink and record, bro, because I just lose my words, bro. This is what not to do.
And even if someone manages to survive, the excruciating pain with every breath feels like razor blades scraping their lungs. It's a war chemical that was used by Germany during World War I and resulted in the deaths of over 90,000 soldiers. Wow. To make matters worse, the step involving blowing on the pennies with a straw wasn't just pointless. It ensured that anyone attempting this experiment would lean into a jar and inhale a much higher dose of the deadly gas. For someone to trick people into creating this deadly chemical in their home goes beyond the realm of simply trolling. It was calculated and downright malicious.
Facts.
The original thread has since been lost to time, leaving no way to determine just how many people fell victim to this cruel trick.
Wow.
However, I did uncover a reply posted just a few days later. In it, someone shared their horrifying...
And it's crazy because there could be a literal kid who sees this on Reddit, even though I don't know why. I don't know what this is on, but a little kid could come across this, bro, and like try to do this bullshit, bro, and you just killed a kid for no reason, bro.
Experience of attempting the experiment, where instead of creating cool looking crystals, they nearly died after inhaling the toxic fumes and had to spend a week in a hospital bed to recover. And from what I could find, he wasn't the only victim of this inhumane prank. The original thread eventually morphed into a copy pasta, spreading across the internet like wildfire. It popped up on platforms like Reddit, and even in Roblox servers, where it could easily reach a younger...
That was definitely Reddit.
Even if viewers figured out something might be off, multiple replies like, amazing, can confirm this works, and okay, just finished after a long, hard 25-minute blow, looks amazing, could easily erase any doubts and make the post seem legitimate. Tragically, that's likely what happened to an 11-year-old boy in Maryland. On the 18th of June 2015, someone made a post on the legal advice subreddit with the ominous title, "My son accidentally killed himself because of 4chan." What followed was a heartbreaking account of a tragedy that could have been avoided. It stated, "About a month ago, my 11-year-old son accidentally died when he followed instructions he saw online on a website called 4chan."
Dude, do you know how fucking mad I'd be if my child even... That's why I said my child is not getting a phone until I got a phone. Now, I've had, like, my mom's old phones and stuff like that when I was a jit, but you also gotta understand, bro, I'm from the early 2000s era, bro. The internet wasn't what it is now. You know what I'm saying? Like, folks used to use Uvu. Niggas didn't know what FaceTime was. FaceTime wasn't even a thing when I was FaceTiming people, bro, or video calling people, bro. Like, niggas on Uvu, that's not even a thing no more, bro. I'm lucky getting up there in age, bro. My kid is not having a phone until they're in 6th grade, bro. And even then, that's even risky, bro. I'm gonna have to bump it up to 8th. You know what I'm saying? Like, real talk, too. That's the thing. Like, bro, I honestly don't even want my kids to go to school. I want my kids to be homeschooled, bro, until high school. They can go to school. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give you a life outside of school anyways, bro. To where you go to school, you'll be able to make friends easily. But, bro, it's like, this generation's just crazy,
Someone
bro.
had posted detailed instructions on how to make what he believed to be crystals, but turned out to be poison. Is there any legal action I can take against the person who ruined my life and devastated my family? A friend recommended I ask around before paying for a lawyer. Any help would be appreciated. Sadly, due to the anonymous nature of sites like 4chan, there's no feasible way for this parent to uncover the identity of
So this is a
website or seek
website?
justice for their son. The only silver lining here is that this deadly copy pasta has since faded into obscurity, reducing the chance of more victims falling into its trap.
Wow. That's crazy.
What does B
that's
keep in the
crazy.
freezer? On December 5th, 2007, a user on 4chan's random board started a very innocent-looking thread with the title, "What does B keep in the freezer? Guess what's in mine?" Alongside this, the anonymous user also posted a picture of an open freezer with something black sticking out of the bottom. At first, most people saw this as nothing more than a joke and gave humorous answers like cake and Bambi's mom. Some also turned to dark humor, with one reply speculating if the OP had a body in the freezer. This guess turned out to be more true than anyone could have imagined. About 5 minutes later, the OP replied with a chilling, "Well done," along with a photo of what appeared to be a severed human leg stored in the freezer. Over the next 10 minutes, the OP posted 2 more images. One revealed multiple severed limbs wrapped in a black plastic bag, and the other showed the OP's hand in front of these limbs, giving a disturbingly casual thumbs up. Shortly after, the OP vanished from the thread, leaving others to speculate about the true origin of these images.
Hell no.
Some users tried to debunk the photos, with one attempting to reverse image search to prove they'd been lifted from somewhere online. However, they couldn't find any matching images.
Did somebody just say I'm
Reverse
satisfied?
image search to prove
Somehow I'm not satisfied. Pics of the fake. Bro, y'all niggas, bro. You literally need to find God, bro. Find Jesus, find God, find the man above. Please, bro, before it's too late for you, bro. Like, what?
they'd been lifted from somewhere online. However, they couldn't find any matching images anywhere on the internet, suggesting the chilling possibility that the OP had taken the photos
Hell
himself.
nah.
This raised an unsettling question.
Nigga
Were the
said,
body
"Well
parts in this
done."
image is real? It's entirely possible the limbs were just props, likely for a horror film or a similar project. The OP might have staged the photos by placing the props in a freezer to make them resemble the aftermath of a horrific crime. But, as one reply in the original thread pointed out, the body parts looked far too realistic to be mere props. They also displayed signs of freezer burn, something that would only happen with actual skin and flesh. Now, if the limbs were real, it raises an even more disturbing question.
Damn, he not even gonna
Who
show
did
the
they
pig.
belong to? Unfortunately, the original poster didn't give any hints in any of his posts. However, after examining every detail, I managed to narrow it down to some of the most plausible theories. The first, and most horrifying, is that the OP was a serial killer, and those limbs belonged to their victims. However, this theory, while chilling, is also the least likely. Serial killers who taunt the public with evidence of their crimes often leave trails to claim responsibility or provoke fear. They might include cryptic notes, references to other crimes, or follow-ups to attract more attention. But this OP did none of that. There were no cryptic messages or any further attempts to draw attention beyond the initial post. Additionally, sharing such damning evidence anonymously without any follow-up doesn't fit the profile of someone seeking notoriety or validation for their actions. The second theory is the OP stole the body parts from a morgue where he worked. However, the main issue with
That's
this
just
theory is that the vast
weird.
majority of morgues operate under strict regulations, and missing body parts are treated as a serious violation. Such an act would likely result in an investigation, making it almost impossible for the OP to smuggle out limbs unnoticed. Which leaves us with the
Bro, they gotta be getting crazy pay there. Like, I know I shouldn't be thinking about that right now, but like, bro, they gotta be getting crazy cheese there, bro. Like, to deal with stuff like that, like people deceased bodies and stuff, like even the people who do the cremation stuff, bro, like they gotta be getting some real cheese. If they getting anything less than 26, bro, man, this world is flawed.
option. The limbs were real and actually belonged to the OP. As absurd as it may sound, there have been several cases of people preserving their own amputated limbs after accidents or illness for sentimental reasons. Some hospitals even have procedures that allow patients to take possession of their amputated limbs. That said, these are all theories with no concrete evidence to support any of them. And with nearly 18 years
That's
having
just
passed since
trippy,
the
bro.
original
That's just
thread appeared,
weird.
It's unlikely we'll ever uncover the truth behind this disturbing
Like,
mystery.
come on, dude. What we doing? What we doing, gang?
Drone stalking.
Drone
On the 10th of
stalking.
April 2020, someone started a thread on 4chan with a seemingly bizarre question.
Man, you know how fast I'd shoot a drone, bro, if I seen that shit outside my crib, bro? I'm just fa. Nigga, you ain't gonna be on no weird shit over here, nigga, motherfucker. Nigga, I'm a.
This dude
Come
wearing
on
a
now.
full face mask.
I dare you to come
Alongside
around.
the post, they shared a photo of a couple lounging on their couch watching something on a laptop. And while the guy in the picture looked a bit creepy with his covered face, he was most likely wearing a
Yeah,
mask.
he with his girl,
But what
too.
caught everyone's attention was the odd framing of this picture, with one person asking, "Why are you taking photos inside some random dude's house?" That's when things took a turn from strange to downright disturbing. The OP responded to this question by explaining that the apartment actually belonged to the girl in the photo, who was an Instagram influencer. He also mentioned that he had been, quote,
Weirdo, bro!
In other words, the OP was admitting to being a stalker. Naturally, this raised even more questions. Another user asked how he was able to take this picture from their porch without getting spotted, and the response was quite disturbing. The OP explained that the apartment was a high-rise building, and they'd been using a drone to
Bro,
stalk
that's
the
what I'm
girl
saying,
from
bro.
kilometers away. To further prove their story, the OP shared a
Y'all gotta close y'all's windows, gang. Like, I be opening my window, but bro, I still have the blinds down, bro. Never will you catch me with just the blinds open, bro. Like, especially pulled up. Now, opening it like these is crazy, bro. I mean, opening it like these is different. But pulling it up, I don't do that, bro. I'm sorry.
Instagram story posted by the girl. In it, she
how'd you not see it?
Discomfort after spotting a drone hovering outside her window. The caption saying, "This drone literally came outside my window and chilled there for a while. This can't be legal, right?"
You gotta get blinds,
information
bro.
from the OP, he disappeared from the thread, leaving everyone wondering about his creepy behavior. Some users speculated that the entire post was fake, pointing out that the lights visible in the original image were missing from the Instagram story. However, a closer examination of the original photo reveals that the OP wasn't lying. If you examine the image carefully, you can see the drone reflected in the window. So it looks to be real. Unfortunately, that's where the trail ends. I was unable to track down the girl in the photo or the original Instagram story she shared. Hopefully, she was able to take legal action against this 4chan stalker.
I mean, how the hell you take illegal action against that? This shit is anonymous.
Killer mystery. On the 28th of January 2021, a user on 4chan's paranormal board made a lengthy post titled Mystery Sheep Killer. OP explained that he lived on a farm in rural Denmark, surrounded by animals, mostly sheep. One early morning, around 5 a.m., he heard an unearthly scream. It was so unsettling that he struggled to describe it. A second scream followed shortly after, but living next to a forest, strange animal noises weren't uncommon, so he brushed it off and went back to sleep. And sure enough, everything seemed fairly normal the next morning. However, 2 days later, something happened that shook him to his core. While heading to his college, the OP spotted his dad dragging a sheep carcass through the backyard. Now, deaths on the OP's farm weren't unusual, but this was different, and his dad admitted he'd never seen anything like it before. The left side of the sheep's face was entirely gone, stripped clean to the bone. Whatever attacked it devoured the entire side of its face, including its tongue. Upon closer inspection, OP found no signs of a struggle, no claw marks, no torn wool, just a few bird feathers near the carcass. Some users on 4chan speculated that it might be a fox or another predator, but the evidence didn't line up. It's highly unusual for any predator to target a prey's face so precisely while leaving the rest of the body untouched.
Yeah, what the hell did you do?
A few people also speculated that maybe the sheep was killed by some crazy person on drugs, which would explain the almost precise cut. The claim that made the most sense, however, was
how'd you kill it so precise?
And was later eaten by a bird. And while this theory explained the random feathers on the body, it failed to account for the multiple screams OP heard a few days before. Unfortunately, with no evidence to go on, the case went cold for several weeks. That was until March 30th, when OP posted another update, and things took an even darker turn. A couple of weeks later after his first post, things got even worse for OP. One night, he heard strange noises coming from the kitchen.
Oh, hell no!
He was freaking out.
Bro, what was that?
One night, he heard strange noises coming.
Man, what is that? Who was that? Who is that? Hell no, man. I'm good.
We went to check, his cat was freaking out, staring out the window like it had seen something terrifying. Later that night, he heard the same blood-curdling scream again. And the next morning, his worst fear came true. Another sheep had been killed in the exact same brutal way. Sadly, he hasn't posted any updates since March of 2021. And without more evidence included, it's unlikely we'll ever find out what really happened.
Jeez. And these folks be anonymous. That's the crazy part.
On December 11th, 2012, an anonymous user posted a photo of a syringe filled with glowing liquid, asking fellow users which part of his body he should inject it into. When one user asked for a timestamp to prove that this was real, the OP complied almost immediately. This demonstrated that he was willing to follow whatever instructions other users gave him. However, no one anticipated that he would actually go through with his promise. But when one user replied with wrist to his question, OP replied with a picture of him injecting the mystery fluid into a vein. And while others were still processing what they had just witnessed...
Is that shit from Fortnite, bro? What's that shit called again? Like the shit that you take when you about to die or some shit like that?
He returned to the thread and posted pictures of his veins glowing in the same color.
Yo, what is that? That shit low-key cool though, the way it looks.
However,
I would never do that.
Had a chance to question OP about what this fluorescent liquid was, he stopped posting on the thread. Now, after a closer look, most users came to the conclusion that the OP extracted this mysterious liquid from a glow stick. If this was true, it would explain his mysterious disappearance. Glow stick liquid is extremely toxic and can lead to fatal heart issues if injected into the body.
Dumbass.
In other words, the reason OP stopped replying was likely because he was either hospitalized or had already died from the consequences of his idiotic actions. And when no updates came, even months after the original thread, most users assumed the worst.
Like, look at this, bro. What are we doing, bro? Like, what are we doing? This is what you want to do for the funsies? Come on, gang. Come on, bro. Come on.
And when no updates came, even months after the original thread, most users assumed the worst, that he had, in fact, passed away. However, this theory has two significant flaws. For starters, there's no record of anyone dying from injecting glow stick fluid into their veins.
I mean, who's really that dumb?
Unusual would likely attract at least some media attention, yet there's absolutely no coverage of such an incident anywhere. More importantly, there's plenty of evidence to suggest that the whole thing is fake. For instance, in the photo where he supposedly injected the fluid, the needle looks to be just resting on top of his wrist rather than penetrating.
It could be
As for the image showing his veins
Photoshop.
glowing after the injection, it's probably just Photoshopped to look that way.
Yeah.
It does look somewhat convincing at first until you notice the
That does
shape
look a
of
little
the
fake.
vein
The more I
veins.
look at it.
Wrist veins in most people don't make sharp, unnatural turns like the one shown in the image. Put simply, the OP likely created this thread purely for attention. It's highly probable that he's perfectly fine and never actually carried out the dangerous stunt he claimed.
Shit does look a little fake. I ain't gonna cap.
Forest grenade.
We got one more.
There have been multiple instances of 4chan users coming across real grenades and causing disasters. Like the incident I covered in a previous video where someone actually dropped a live grenade into their toilet because 4chan users dared them to do it. And another user did a similar stunt. It all started on the 26th of June 2012 when someone posted a picture of a rust-covered grenade with the caption, "Look what I found laying in the forest today. Is it dangerous?" 4chan users, of course,
I wouldn't
like they
even
always
touch
do,
it,
started
gang.
suggesting
I'm running
to,
away.
quote, "pull the pin already." When he asked again if this thing was dangerous, another user replied, "Nah, just pull the pin." After requesting a picture of the bottom of the grenade, one user pointed out that because the bottom wasn't drilled out, it was likely still live, as practice or unused grenades were always drilled at the bottom. But despite asking others about the potential dangers, the OP chose to ignore their warnings. Instead, he continued experimenting with the grenade, seemingly driven by curiosity to see what would happen. He then proceeded to break its pin mechanism, microwave the grenade, and put it in a small fire, all while asking users for what to do next. However, after posting a picture of him running it over with his car, the OP stopped replying to any more requests and was never heard from again.
Bro,
some believe that the grenade...
You asked for it, bro. You just a... Okay. Alright. Nigga, you ran it over a grenade. I don't care if it's fake or not, bro. If I don't... Especially if I don't actually know if it's fake or not, bro. Then I'm gonna run over a grenade?
Grenade was either fake or was already disabled, while others think it may have actually detonated, costing the OP his life. However, after hours of searching the web, I wasn't able to find any news articles talking about someone dying from a grenade around that time. It's also possible that the grenade was real, but after so many failed experiments, the OP simply got bored and moved on with his life. Whatever the truth may be, it's unlikely we'll ever know for sure, especially 13 years later.
Facts. Hey man, shout out to Chillin' Scares, bro. Y'all go tap in with him, bro. We definitely gonna check out this channel more. It's the first reaction I've had on his channels, man. Or on his channel, I meant. So we gonna react to more for sure. But let me know if y'all like the video, man. Roll to 10K. I love y'all. See y'all in the next, man. I'm out this motherfucker. These motherfuckers was stupid as hell.